Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine you're doing just a simple search, trying to learn about someone, maybe just a name you've heard. You head online, maybe check some archives. What you might find isn't just one person, but this fascinating tangle of lives. Sometimes they seem totally unrelated, sometimes, well, surprisingly intertwined. And that's exactly what happened in this deep dive.
Yeah, it's truly fascinating how one name, David Cannon, can actually lead us down two entirely different yet equally compelling paths. Our sources today were quite a mix. We had like contemporary online databases detailing public figures, and then this surprising find in historical archives, specifically a register from a historical society.
Right. So our mission today is to try and untangle these distinct lives. We want to highlight the unique and, frankly, surprising details each one offers, and ultimately see what broader insights we might gain about, well, navigating information when identity gets kind of fragmented across different places.
Hmm.
Okay, so when we first started pulling sources on David Cannon, one figure just immediately jumped out. He was like all over the popular list, trending sites. This was David Cannon, known widely as an American adult film actor.
Hmm. And diving into the specifics from sources like David Cannon dating history and the movie database, TMDB, we found quite a detailed profile. Okay, so he's listed as 72 years old, born August 1st, 1953, which makes him a Leo. His occupation is very clearly stated, American adult film star. That's confirmed with actor for adults
True.
and relationships. Well, he was married to Bridgette Monet. She was also an adult film star for an impressive 40 years. Apparently, they dated for 5 years before marrying on January 26, 1985.
40 years. Wow, that's incredible longevity, really, in any field, but especially that one.
It really is. And his
Yeah.
filmography is remarkably extensive. He's known for 41 roles.
41. Were there any, standout films or maybe patterns in his career?
Absolutely. Very prolific. Titles like Taboo 2, Let's Talk Sex, Physical Attraction, Sorority Sweethearts pop up. But what's maybe more striking is the huge list of alternative names he used.
Oh, right.
Yeah, everything from David Smith and David Canyon to Jeff Gold and Steve Carson. I mean, tons of them. It really highlights, the different identities across his career. And he even appears in archive footage in films as recent as 2009 and 2005, which, again, speaks to that sustained presence.
Okay.
And then, just as a really quirky detail from one source, there's apparently an intriguing 6 degrees connection listed to Justin Bieber.
Wait, hang on. A 6 degrees connection to Justin Bieber. Now, that's a curveball I did not see coming. How does that even work?
Well, that's the thing. The source just listed it as a connection. It didn't really elaborate on the exact link, which I guess just goes to show how unexpected those digital threads can sometimes be.
Fascinating. Just bizarre. Okay, so that's one vivid portrait then. A long, prolific career, a significant relationship, a whole host of aliases, all under a name that seems, straightforward enough. But here's where our deep dive truly, well, earns its name. Because while that David Cannon story is compelling, our research unearthed someone else entirely, a completely different life sharing the exact same name, David Cannon Dashiell.
Exactly. And if we connect this back to, the bigger picture of finding information, it raises that important question. What happens when a name isn't unique? Your initial search might only show you one, maybe very public side of it. Because our sources revealed this completely different individual, David Cannon Dashiell, who was a profound artist.
This is where it gets really interesting. This David Cannon, he was born July 4th, 1952 in Tokyo, Japan, to Samuel Dashiell and Dorothy Cannon. And get this, he was the grandson of the famous author Dashiell Hammett.
Incredible lineage. Right.
Seriously.
Yeah. His childhood was spent mainly in Southeast Asia until 1968. Then he returned to the U.S., finished high school down in Florida. For education, he went to the California Institute of Arts, CalArts, got a BFA in 74, then an MFA in 76, and he actually studied with the renowned conceptual artist John Baldessari there.
Wow, Baldessari. Okay.
Yeah. And initially, he worked at an architecture firm in Los Angeles for a while.
So an architect, an artist, connection to a literary giant. What prompted the shift? What led him towards making such an impact in the art world later on?
Well, he made a pivotal move to San Francisco in the early 1980s. Part of that was to explore his sexuality. And it was during the spreading AIDS epidemic that he really resumed working as an artist. He dedicated his conceptual art, really focused it on themes related to AIDS. So sexuality, disease, medicine, even apocalyptic symbolism.
Heavy themes.
Very. And he became a prolific and respected conceptual artist. He exhibited at well-known galleries like Beyond Baroque down in Venice, California, and New Langton Arts in San Francisco. Both were pretty prominent spaces for cutting-edge work. He even received the prestigious Adeline Kent Award from the San Francisco Art Institute in 1993. That was major recognition.
Right.
And his works now, they're in major collections, SF MoMA, the University Art Museum Berkeley, the Whitney. But tragically, he died from AIDS on June 30th, 1993, just days before his 41st birthday.
Oh, wow. So young.
We'll get into
Well, what a powerful legacy to leave through his art. And his materials are preserved, I think you said.
Yes, that's right. His papers, they document his creative works, written stuff, conceptual pieces, design work. They're all housed at the Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual, Transgender Historical Society in San Francisco, which really speaks to the significant impact he had, particularly within that community and the art world responding to AIDS.
Okay, so we have these two really distinct lives, both under David Cannon. One, a star of adult films with this long career. The other, a profound artist and activist gone way too soon. You might think that's where the paths diverge completely, but the deeper we dug, well, the more surprising the connections became. And this particular thread, it weaves through David Cannon Dashiell's personal life, through someone incredibly close to him, his partner, Lewis DeVries.
Right. This brings up that question again. How exactly do these seemingly disparate lives, maybe especially around a shared name, sometimes intersect in unexpected ways? So Lewis DeVries was Dashiell's partner during the last 2 years of his life. And sadly, he himself passed away just 14 months after Dashiell. But what's particularly noteworthy here, and where we see this unexpected echo of our first David Cannon, is that Lewis DeVries wasn't just an interior designer and architect, he was also an adult film actor.
No way, really?
Yes, and his personal and creative material, they're also part of that David Cannon Dashiell collection at the GLBT Historical Society.
That's astonishing. So just to be clear, our two main David Cannons weren't directly connected themselves, but David Cannon Dashiell, the artist, shared his life with someone who was connected through that same industry to the world of the other David Cannon. It's almost like a hidden pattern emerging from the data, isn't it?
Precisely. Yeah, it really highlights how identities and worlds can overlap or touch in these, well, surprising ways, even if the main figures themselves aren't directly linked.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? I mean, this deep dive, it isn't just about two people sharing a name. It kind of highlights how different archives, digital and historical, can fragment identity, how they often prioritize specific public roles. It really challenges us to think about who is collecting the data and why, and how that shapes the story we get about someone's life.
Exactly. This whole journey through the lives tied to the name David Cannon, it just underscores that knowledge is, well, most valuable when it's understood in its context. You have to piece together information from diverse sources. It really encourages us, I think, to question those initial assumptions, right? And consider multiple perspectives when we're faced with information, knowing that often a deeper truth lies just beneath that first surface look.
Yeah. This deep dive has shown us that even a simple name can lead to this incredibly rich tapestry of lives. And sometimes the most unforeseen links. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other hidden stories or surprising, maybe cross-community connections might lie just a surface search away, just waiting for a deeper dive?